My name's Jensen now, but my maiden name is Rogers, and I wasn't very happy about that for quite a while because Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was on TV when I was in middle school, and you know how evil middle school kids can be, and people would ask how it was in my father's neighborhood, and my father was not the Mr. Rogers you wanted to have little kids dealing with. So, like, I wouldn't watch Mr. Rogers, and I swear to God, I cry. I watch Mr. Rogers now, and I cry because I think my brother watched every episode of that 5 times, but I just I probably heard him in the background and learned lessons I needed to from him that my own father would never have been able to teach me. So since we were on my name, I figured I'd say that. It was a big deal. My name has played a huge part in my life. When I started engineering classes at Penn State, there was a big problem because there was another Susan Rogers, and she was Susan T. Rogers, and I was Susan J. And it was back before computers, and someone switched our transcripts, so I didn't clup out of calculus, chemistry, this physics, and this and that. I had been the second girl in Washington State to take atomic nuclear science in high school. I wound up having to retake algebra, and I had never taken trig, but the score shows that I had trig. Well, it turned out they had swapped our transcripts, so my entire first semester I had to go back and retake classes that I'd been taking since 8th grade. When I was like 4 or something, I said I want to be a nurse, and my mom said, well, nurses have to get shots, so are you sure you really want to be a nurse, right? And I was like, okay, well, shut that down. And there was like any kind of a thing, I just wound up wanting to write and be like my pals in my books, and my parents always had expectations that I would be like, if there was a costume designer when I went into theater, oh, well, you're going to be the next, what was it, Edith Head or whoever. Yeah. And I'm like, move over. And I'm like, there was always so much expectation of me that I didn't really have my own expectations, I don't think. Like, oh, you're going to be the next Peggy Fleming. Well, I wasn't even the one that wanted to do that. I think that was my sister. And I also was kind of treated like I should have been. I was the first grandkid on either side. And everybody in the family except for my grandfather wanted a boy, and I didn't measure up to that. So, well, no, I was the first on either side, and my mom was from a family of all girls, and my dad was a family of all boys, and I wound up getting treated more like a boy than like a girl. And I wasn't the least bit of tomboy, really. But that was my sister. She used to beat everybody up. But my parents were like that. It would be like, oh no, you can't be a nurse. You should be a doctor, though. Like, and then, yeah, and they were very racist. And like I was, my father, who called himself the benevolent dictator and Mr. Nice Guy and several other things, he made sure that I went and learned German. I took 4 years of German in 3 years of high school. And I can read it. so to speak it, and I can eavesdrop in it. And one time I found out a guy was cheating on me because he forgot I could eavesdrop in German. And so he went by the wayside real quick. And then I can read French because my mother was insistent that I learn French. And I can't hear it because it runs together too much for me. I can kind of hear it now because we would occasionally listen to French radio when I lived in Scotland and London. And but Spanish was out of the question. And now I know why. Because that's why I want to learn Spanish. But there's two reasons. One, I want to read Arturo Pérez Reverte's Club du Mât in the original language because the translation is so brilliant that I just want to be able to read that in the original language. And also it'd be a nice little gesture to my parents. You know? But yeah. Arturo Pérez Reverte, he's known for The Fencing Master, a whole lot of books, but the Club du Mât is, what's that, with Tom Hanks was in this movie, everybody went nuts, The Da Vinci Code. Okay. I was a bookseller while that was on sale, and I kept a stack of Club du Mât behind me. And when I was at the register, and I would pick up that and tell people, if you think that's good, you should buy this one because it's better. It was written 10 years earlier in Spanish, and they had to take half of the plot and make it into The Ninth Circle or something, a Johnny Depp movie. But and then people would be like, oh, I said, well, and they'd be like, well, should I buy that? Not really. You should buy the one. You should buy Club du Mât. But it was the translation into English. It was just so poetic. All of his writing, and it being a translation and to be that well written, I just have to find out what it is in Spanish. I have dyslexia really pretty bad and dyscalculia, and I have difficulty telling time and such, so me being an engineer was kind of not something that should have ever happened. But my parents are very pushy. I'll get to a point where, I can get out the door pretty good. I did arrange everything last night. The dyslexia and stuff, I also have things that prop me up, like stuff on apps on the phone now that I can use, that'll tell me, I have, if you say Alexa while you're in my house, she will say, what would you like, master, practically. But I call her dyslexia when I don't want her to respond. But so I've got Alexa is set up to tell me when I've got to get to the door so that I can get here. And which is why I was a little late a few times. It's I didn't have it set to the right time. It usually takes me a couple of times to I have to do a dry run of some things because it's not just the OCD, it's also that my workarounds for some of these things involves time and setting things up. My mom said I didn't talk except to my invisible friends. And I said she probably just didn't see the cats. One of the things that I pushed myself in, I brought these cards because it's one, I am a really extreme introvert, but if I have my moments and I go out into the world, and then I go back and hide, like. And it was really apparent at the Philadelphia Folk Festival. I went there for 10 years, and it's a festival in July, a music festival. I went there as a reporter first, but I wound up living in the campgrounds as a volunteer toward the end, and for a decade, I was the Philadelphia Folk Festival, and other nuts had wings, but I was the only one with a business card. So what I did there is like, that's the other thing, is people have accused me of not wanting to be myself. Well, sometimes that's really extremely true. Like using different voices, I found out, because people are like, why do you mimic people so much? And I found out it's like Bruce Willis had his his stuttering. He was overcoming it by being all these other characters. And I worked out that that's where some of this, voices will come. Now, I don't know if it's coming out, because I've noticed that the Philadelphia is coming out really thick, and I wish it wouldn't. But to get past myself, I'm like, I'll do I do characters, and it just like constantly kind of shape-shifting around. I don't know if that answered the question, but I was the only nut with a business card. So I went around, I got these printed up, and I distributed those and bopped people on the head with a garden pick with a butterfly on one end, and people would wait to get those cards every year. So at the Philadelphia Folk Festival. So I would run around. Of course, there was also freely flowing alcohol that didn't hurt in that endeavor to get past myself, which you weren't supposed to have any at all. I'm trying to become an extroverted optimist, coming from where it was, like how it's turned out. I don't know. I probably happier looking back the way that it's turning out, and that I'm able to break free and actually be with people and make friends, because like at the time I just always had to hit the ground running. It was like I was flying by the seat of my pants. I'm grateful to be in Oregon. This is the most beautiful place in the world. And of all the places, oh God, I'm crying so much. Of all the places in the world, because I was born in upstate New York, and we moved when I was 3, and we moved when I was 5. Then we moved when I was entering 7th grade, and we moved when I was 14, and then so I'm grateful to be back here. You know, especially it's the most beautiful place, and it's home. Like, of all the places I ever was, it's home. Well, except for Scotland. Scotland would be a lovely. Scotland's also very lovely. Like, everybody in this room seems to have, you know, this just kind, generous, giving, forward-thinking, happy